All right, I am back. Sorry about that. We still have a few more minutes here before launch. I'm going to get to the NinjaTrader YouTube channel so I can see questions from there. Questions, discussions, dialogues. Busy, good morning. Stormy in Boston. Yeah, I heard. Tova. Isabel, awesome. Thanks for coming, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. I have the YouTube side set up also. All right, so we're in good shape. How bad is it on the East Coast? I heard even yesterday we're losing power yesterday and maybe today. Is that true? Hope it's not, but it might well be. Appreciate the thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you for that. We're going to get started right on time here. It's 7:57. Busy says, yep, power losses and damaged cars and houses. Oh, that's horrible. It is horrible. I think the rain's supposed to hit Charlotte, North Carolina tomorrow. I don't know if it's related or not, but that's coming. And let's see how it goes. Hopefully not too bad here, but wow, that's tough for the East Coast folks. Rosalind, good morning. Juan, good morning. Ito, good morning. Ito FX is in the house. Now we're going to get started on time. We have a couple more minutes here. My name is Jim Cagnina. We'll do an official introduction and all that stuff. For those of you who are new, I know many of you have been here before, and I appreciate that. We're every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we go live at this time and do this live setup event. And then we also do a couple extra ones. There's going to be I think it's Futures Trading 101 is today. Let's double check that. Hang on a second. I should know because I'm I'm doing it. So I'm prepared. Don't worry about it. I'm not. No, today's the top 5 indicators. Right, we're going to go into detail on some indicators, just indicators, on at 12 o'clock Eastern time today. So 10 o'clock right now. 1 more minute. We're doing the trade setups. Again, join us any Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tell your friends. It's free. Love to have you. James, I am going to describe my chart setup in excruciating detail. Thanks for asking. You're going to be begging me to stop talking about it. Rick, good morning. Michael F. Juan says 101. Yes. Wow. All right. So I think we can start here. We got a new can. It's so, well, I don't know. We have another 30 seconds. I feel bad starting before anyone, before the 10 o'clock hour. But we're going to do it. We're going to get going here. Just going to adjust my chart. 10-minute candle chart. There we go. We got a new one, so we can go ahead and get started here. Don't freak out. This isn't a full-fledged PowerPoint. I just got a little fancy today. I know for those of you who've been with me for like a year, I have I don't even have a cover sheet. But anyway, today's trade setups in the E-mini S&P 500 market. We'll look at the mini NASDAQ, maybe a couple other ones as well. My name is Jim Cagnina. I'm the Senior Education and Trading Specialist for the NinjaTrader platform. I do want to remind everybody that trading futures options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have this high combination of leverage and volatility. And although that could be an equation for opportunity, which I think is why we're all here, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition: money I could afford to lose, doesn't lengthen my retirement horizon, doesn't change my lifestyle, doesn't overly anger Mrs. Caggs. Now, the third part's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's not really. Stress in life matters. We're under stress, we make bad decisions. So, don't be easy on the day trade margins. Take your time, risk capital, and any questions on that type of men. I am logged in simulated live mode with the NinjaTrader software with a real-time data feed. All right, so let's get right into it. Hey, M. Bartlett is in the house. Thank you for being here. Busy looks like a reversal on ES, head and shoulders on a 10-minute chart. I don't know. I don't know if it's a head or shoulders. I mean, I can see what you're saying here. Here's a head here. Here's a head here. We're driving up north. But you know, earnings is a wacky thing. I'm very bullish in this market. I'm looking for places to buy. And we'll pull up a daily chart in a minute just to show you how I established my bullishness. For some reason, there's some kind of position going on in this account. I'm not sure. I don't remember that. I must have left something going. Oh, it's a big NQ one I left going the other day. Yeah, we'll ignore that one. We'll focus on the second sim account here, the sim account one. So I must have left that one from a demonstration I was doing yesterday. Herbert says if it's making money, leave it alone. Exactly. I'm not sure I don't remember the basis of that one, actually, to be honest with you, as sad as that sounds. In any event, man, so we got CCI over 161. This is my oscillator, commodity channel index. We're going to talk about it in gory detail in a couple hours. I have my moving average cross here down here. 6 period is the fast, 26 is the slow, and we're diverging. A lot of positive pressure here. We have point of control all the way back down here at 49.69. The top of the value area, we're trading above the top of the value area, the volume profile. We'll go into detail on that as well. And don't forget, we have the Fed meeting next week. We have a ton of earnings coming out. We had durable goods orders come out today. A lot of stuff going on that's going to be driving the supply and demand fight for pricing as we go forward here. So, the head and shoulders thing here, the double head here it's definitely important to note, right? It's important to note, and I'm going to kind of do my regular, rectangle, but I'm going to kind of, take a peek at where I feel the area of resistance is. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw a rectangle there. We haven't had a candle close in there all day, right? And that's at the high, right? It makes sense. I mean, it's at the high. We did have a second attempt at it, though, as who pointed out? Herbert pointed that out. Maybe Herbert didn't point it out. Busy pointed it out. Yeah, Busy pointed it out. That's a good point. That's a good catch. So, but because it's kind of withstood the test of time, over a long period of time, I'm going to draw my rectangle there and say, hey, that's for sure. That's for sure. I want to see it close in this rectangle before all bets are off. And we haven't done it yet. We touched it. We touched it and traded into it once, came back down, couldn't get up there, couldn't get up there on the open, and can't get up there now. We're kind of pulling back down now. But again, I'm overall bullish, right? So I'm really, really going to be conservative in my entries today. I'm going to think about what's happening here. It's only 10:04, really, really early. So right away, I'm going to look at the bottom of this value area as an area of interest, noting this big wick down here. A lot of times these big wicks get attacked, right? So if I were to do something like try to get long here at the bottom of the value area, which isn't unreasonable upon inspection, keep in mind there could be an awful lot of risk management you have to do here because of the of this big tail and that big tail. I don't know. This is just my experience. I've seen this happen so often where these tails get attacked. I'm going to call them a tail. You can call them a wick or a shadow, I guess was probably more appropriate. So this is a lot of risk reward here because I'm going to I would have up to a 5 or 6 handle stop. If I wanted to be more conservative, I would wait to try to make a lower low on this candle right here. So that's a super conservative entry. And, we may or may not get there. Who knows? But I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive today. We'll pull it up and see what happens, and we'll be patient and talk about it. We might adjust as candles develop. And we see an area developing. Hopefully, we'll see an area of short-term support. Don't have that yet, but let's see what happens going forward here. Juan says, don't upset Mrs. Keggs. Is good advice. You got that right, Juan. She's a lovely lady. She's a lovely lady. All right, so let's look at the board here. So ES is kind of unchanged on the day, right? 250. NASDAQ's only up 30. RTY, the Russell's been having some hard times lately. It hasn't been keeping pace, right? This is the Russell 2000 stock index. Oops, I changed it. Oh, so by the way, I discovered something super cool. I should know this considering I'm the platform specialist, right? Instrument link, you click on the market analyzer, you pick a color. And then on a chart, you also pick the same color. Then when I click on an instrument, it changes the chart. Watch this. We'll change it to NQ. Changes it automatically. That is super cool, my friends. In any event, just figured that one out. Don't tell my bosses at NinjaTrader. I just figured that out. I don't want to get in trouble. Let's see. So, we're kind of, stock indices are kind of, maybe there's going to be a good volume profile day. we'll see. You know, a lot of times this volume profile develops a bell-shaped curve, and it's really good trading for that. We're not quite there yet, so let's be patient. Currency is not that much to talk about. Euro was a little stronger earlier. It still is a little stronger actually today versus the U.S. dollar. Got the crude oil now, you know, $84. It's relentless. It's not relaxing at all. Crude oil is priced very strongly. Will we hit $100? Maybe. I don't know. What is this order right here? Oh, this is my order. Nice. We're getting close. Bonds, the whole treasury yield curve complex. This is kind of a big deal. Treasury bonds are up a whole handle now to 159.28. We're almost to 160. It's up a whole point. That's $1,000 per contract. So that's telling us something. That's telling us, you know, maybe slow your roll a little bit on this equity, this drive to equity prices. And we're going to keep an eye on that. 10-year, again, is up a little bit. I actually do have the 10-year yield here, 157.4. That makes sense, right? We have this lower yield that we've seen in the last you know, look at where we were a few days ago. We were, you know, way up almost to 1.7% on the 10-year. And now we're down pretty significant, relatively significantly, right? Relatively significantly. So what's happening there is the prices are inversely related, right? So the 10-year note here, you'll see TN. I have it on here twice. No, ZN, I'm sorry, is up a little bit as well. You know, so that makes total sense. Get rid of that. Get rid of that page. I am going to get a fib up there. Great. Thank you for reminding me. So it's kind of tricky here on the fib. I'm going to go to this low wick. Remember, I said these wicks are dangerous. People love attacking the wicks. Who are they? Me and my brother always have this. Me and my brother Chris always have this like argument. You know, they're gonna trade them back down and they're gonna swing them back up. Well, who are they? You know, we don't know who they are. Oh man! All right, let's go to low here. Remember, I'm going to go to a low for a fib. I'm going to click once. I'm going to go to the high. I want to see the whole field today and see where we're at. I'm going to make a little inline edit right here really quickly on my properties of my fib line because I don't want to see the 76.4%. In my opinion, we get there, it's not a retracement anymore. All right. So you know, we got to the 50. We almost got to the 61. We almost got to our order. We didn't quite get there. I'm not going to freak out about it. You know, that's the second best thing that could happen to me, right? First best thing, I would have got it and it would have been a winner. The worst thing the third best thing that could happen to me, I got it and it was a loser. That's not a best thing actually. And then the second best thing is I didn't get anything. You know, no harm, no foul. So not getting filled on something, you know, is frustrating for sure, but it's okay because you're going to get filled on a trade eventually. Patience is key. Top 3 rule is going to be patience for sure on my list. No matter which event you come to, what's your top five trading mistakes or top 5 trading rules? Patience is always going to be one of them. Okay, we got some crude oil talk here. Isabel says I think crude oil could trade above 91. Herbert says F8 key, the hot key F8 will pull up a fib just in case. That's true, Herbert. Awesome. And you can see that I think they label them here. Those are the hot, you know, if you want to draw a line, you're F2, fibs F8, horizontal line F6. Yeah, a lot of shortcuts on the NinjaTrader software right now. So let's just take a peek at CL while we're here. Okay. Looking pretty strong here on the daily. Yeah, I wouldn't be considering selling anything right now. Just kind of see where the opening was. Open was right here. Really, this is the 930 to 940 bar that I have my crosshairs on. We have, you know, an equal and opposite. The 2 candles before there were equal and opposites. Then we have continuation, 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 continuation. What I would consider is, yeah, finding a fib line. But I think we might have an inventory number out today. So you got to be really careful because that inventory number is a weekly number that comes out. And we're right at the top here. I'll go all the way to the top. And just be mindful of that real quickly. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The EIA Petroleum status report is in 20 minutes. So be super careful because that is a market mover, right? Wait a second. Yeah, 20 minutes. So that's a market mover. So, you know, it's one of these things where, do I want to put an order in before CPI at 729? Maybe not. Maybe not. Do I want to put an order in at 10:29 before that? Again, maybe not. So just be careful with that for sure. And just be mindful that that's going to happen. And there will be price dislocation. When I say price dislocation, I'll say volatility, price action. That's a better word, price action. So definitely be careful with that. Tony asks, why do my charts change when I change the time interval? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I could change my, there's a bunch of, why do I have two ESs here? Oh, you know why? Because I did the linky thing here. I'm sorry. Let's go back to NQ. So I don't, where's MNQ? MNQ is better. There we go. I don't know. I mean, when I change from a 10-minute to a 30-minute, my chart's going to look different by definition, because I'm looking at 30-minute candles instead of 10-minute candles. So my volume profile will look different. So I'm not sure, the CCI is going to look different. Moving crosses going to move different, look different. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I understand the question, to be honest with you. All right. So let's see what's going on in the candles with the ES right now. Kind of move this out here so we could talk about it a little bit better. All right. So this red candle was the opening candle for the cash market, right? So this was the 930 to 940 candle, a lot of downward pressure. We had a lot of buyers come back in, a lot of buyers come back in, and then continuation candle on the upside. Sellers slowed the mode down a lot and pushed back up, and then another big drive back down. So this market's a little confused in terms of what direction it wants to be in right now. So we have these big, and the reason I say that is because we have big candles that are opposite each other, right? So this candle right here, high to low was about 14 handles, pretty big. This candle here, high to low, was about another 13 handles, pretty big. This candle, again, these big candles here, big candles here are really kind of driving up and down with a lot of volatility. And this is what I'm talking about when I say risk reward. A lot of volatility here. This is another 8 handles. This one high to low, 11-ish. So it's still trying to find a footing and a direction. The volume profile though is coming up kind of nice, right? There's not a weird kind of P formation or B formation or D formation. This is really a regular bell-shaped distribution right now, which is good to see. So, and as a matter of fact, we're trading right at that point of control right now. So again, it could be some really good value area trading. Value area is this dark blue line right here, this dark blue area right here, right? 1 standard deviation worth of volume since we started today, and we're hovering right around the point of control. That's nice. I like to see that. Juan, I don't really use, there is a back testing tool here on Ninja, which is awesome, by the way, but I don't really, and there's some great videos on the World Wide Web, how to do that. But I don't really do a lot of back testing because I do so many of these presentations and videos and stuff like that. I'm kind of in the moment, and I'm kind of back testing in real time right now. And so we're going to be patient here. We're going to see if we can kind of get a drive back down here. I'm a little bit worried about, as a matter of fact, I think we might be too aggressive here, but that's okay. We're going to see what happens. Really like to see a touchdown to this bottom of the value area here, that 6,400, and then some sort of trade lift back on up toward the point of control. That's the game plan right now as I see it. Let's shoot over to the MNQ and see what we could see on the micro. And the reason the micros in this right now is good because the volume is bigger, right? Tighter bid-ask spreads. You have more volume. You can see it over here. MNQ has got 376,000, whereas the big classic E-mini NQ only has 212,000. Now again, it's there's a lot of earnings coming out today, but I'm going to go ahead and do a MNQ trade anyway. Here are some of the key ones. Boeing, McDonald's, General Motors, Ford, Coca-Cola, Kraft Heinz, Pilgrim Pride, Spotify, eBay, Bisher Thermo, Fisher Scientific, and there's probably more, right? Probably more, but those are the ones I kind of identified right there. Again, I'm bullish here on the micros because they're micros. I want to scale in a couple times. Bottom of the value area. This is still converging here. The moving average cross. I'm not worried. Let's get to the point of control, and then we have 2 units right now in play here on the micros. Point of control right there. It's around 568. Bottom of the value area around 532. And then let's see if we could be patient a little bit and pick up a couple orders there. I have the ES dome here, so we can kind of see where my order is right there in relationship to that yellow little marker. That's mark to market. That's where the price is trading. Take a breather for a second. So James, all right. So the value area is this dark blue area, right? These histogram bars are just tracking volume that's been traded at any given price throughout the course of the session. The bigger the histogram bar, the longer the histogram bar, the more volume traded at that given price. And one standard deviation worth of volume is called the value area. And that's that dark blue area right there. And then the longest histogram bar is called the point of control, where the most volume is traded. And you could see, okay, there we go. So you could see we just got filled at the point of control. We bought a contract at the point of control for the micro NASDAQ. So yeah, I do want to see the market swing up and down from the bottom of the value area to the top of the value area. The only weird thing about today's distribution, it's almost a triple distribution in the NASDAQ. So you're going to see, which is different than in the S&P, and we'll toggle back over the S&P in a second. We're also long in the S&P also. Let's go over the S&P before I talk about this profile, so we can get the rest of our orders in, right? So don't forget, there's 3 parts to an order, right? There's your profit target, and again, I'm going to use the point of control right now. Is my profit target, and then there's my stop loss. I'm going to go down to the bottom of this candle, this wick, and I'm going to give myself some breathing room below it, and I'm just going to throw in a stop loss right now. Okay, so right now you're saying, oh well, your profit loss ratio is out of whack, and I'm going to say no, it's not out of whack. And you're going to say yes, it is out of whack. So the stop right now is kind of a catastrophic stop, right? I'm going to start moving it around as we get more information on the direction here. The target I'm going to stick with, right? I think it's a reasonable to get to that. This point of control, and I'll go further on a little bit and say I think it's more reasonable we get to the point of control than we do to get to my stop level. But again, we'll adjust it on the way up as things start to happen. But this is the anatomy of every trade, right? You have your entry, you have your profit target, you have your stop loss. And it can get more complicated than that if you had multiple units and multiple targets and multiple stops and stuff. But this is the trade. This is everyone's trade, right? Everyone's trade. I'm just rereading John Kenneth Galbraith, The Great Crash of 1929, and they're talking about how the orders were processed in 1929 through the stock exchange, and it's not that much different. This is electronic, so from that point of view, it's different. But the idea of market order, limit order, stop order, and target. I mean, that's just a concept that's been around forever. So in any event, be a little bit more patient, because eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to identify an area where I want to kind of get my stop up at, and I'm probably going to use this wick here, or maybe even break even at this point, since this is going pretty well right now. And that's not a bad strategy. Also, it's just you could move your stop to break even, right? Kind of move your stop to your entry, and then hopefully you're in the right direction. Right now, we don't have enough momentum just yet. Let's see if we start making a new highs on this particular candle. I'll move this over so we can see it better, and then we'll toggle over to the NASDAQ in a second. But the point I was trying to make with the volume profile is here. It's really one. There's kind of one peak. There's one dominant point of control. It's kind of really nice bell-shaped or Gaussian distribution, if you want to get a little geeky. And I like it. I guess is my last final word, parting word on that. I like it. Tony says I back tested and it says if volatility is under 20, I could make a fortune if I only trade Sunday night through Monday close and sometimes on Friday. LOL. I don't know what to make of that comment. I don't. I mean, yeah, no. That's a no. That's a negative ghostwriter. Jeff, thanks for helping out on that. Jeff B gets the assist today. He is co-presenter of the day. Thank you for that. CCI, I'm using it for velocity purposes, right? I'm just I'm using it for as we are getting close here now. I'm going to go ahead and start moving up this stop a little bit. And so just give us some breathing room. And if we get stepped out, we get stepped out. It's okay. If you're freaking out about it and you want to look at where your profit target is, think twice before you do that. You could do it, but think in terms of moving profit targets lower and stops higher. I mean, that's another common mistake, right? We have an idea. We're sticking with our idea. I'm sticking to my guns right here. And if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And so it's kind of a deliberate trade idea in my head and based on the things I'm saying. CCI for me is all about velocity, right? It's all about velocity. So when these are steep, it's suggesting a quick move, whether they're steep up or steep down. When they cross over the zero line, which an oscillator is supposed to do, then that provides me with some information with respect to a possible confirmation of a signal. When they cross quickly over 100 or quickly below a minus 100, same thing. So I really want to see velocity. I want to see the steepness of the actual oscillator's slope of that line. And the steeper it is, the better the signal is in my mind. That's just me. So that's how I use it. This idea of overbought and oversold, I think it doesn't help me. So if the CCI is over 100, the market's overbought. Well, if you thought that here, you would have probably you wouldn't have made it. You wouldn't have done well for a while. If you think it's oversold, I don't know if you would have done well. So that concept though might be better on a daily, weekly, or monthly chart, but on a 10-minute chart when we're in the heat of battle and its earnings are coming out left and right and all this stuff's going on, I'd rather see the velocity of the CCI. Right now we're kind of neutral, right? So 17, kind of going sideways. That's how I use it, and I'm going to get into more detail on that application at the 12 o'clock event today covering indicators. How do you add? Pretty much you right click on it. Jorge, right click, add instruments. If your it's not on this little cheat sheet, click on search. Easy peasy, right click. NinjaTrader, everything is like right click. It's really kind of easy. It's really kind of easy. We'll get another candle here in 6 minutes. We got a long way to go on this candle, which worries me a little bit, excuse me. Worries me a little bit, but that's okay. I feel good about the trade setup. Let's really toggle quickly over the MNQ rather. All right, so we have one of our units so far. We have the point of control unit. Remember, we got long on the point of control. And now the question, okay, so now we have some work to do. This second unit here, I don't want anymore because we're already 50 points above. We're already 50 points above. I don't want it anymore. So I'm gonna cancel it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and say, all right, where do I want to put my stop? I'm gonna put a stop loss, right below the bottom of this wick here, because let me just draw you another rectangle to kind of graphically show what I'm thinking. We really haven't had a close in this area since 7:30. So I'm going to leave that rectangle there. This is the area what I'm going to call contemporary support, right? And so and it's right below the point of control, which is sweet. So we'll go ahead and just do a sell stop and send that there. So now I got to decide, where do I want my profit target at now? We should have done this a long time ago when we first got filled, but since I was blabbing about something else, we missed it. Are we going to make new highs? I don't know. Maybe. I like the idea of kind of getting up to where we closed before. This is a close. This is an open. Just south of that is not an unreasonable suggestion. And if I kind of use my crosshairs to try to line it up with volume, it's kind of weak on the volume up here. So that might be a little too aggressive. I want to move it to the body, maybe down to 36. We'll move that down to 36. Jim had too much coffee today. He can't hit the 30. I can't hit the 36 button. Close enough for government work. So I just kind of move that across. And if on the dome, it's a lot easier to do. On the dome, it's a lot easier to do. So just go, MNQ on the dome. And then, you'll see, oh, I got to have my right. Do I have SimCags on here? Hang on. Chart Trader, SimCags, yeah. Okay, good. Chart Trader, hidden. All right. So that's my target. That's my anatomy of my trade setup right now. Pretty aggressive on that upside. There's a competing. All right. So we were talking about volume profile before. There's two competing points of control. There's one up here where my mouse is, where my crosshairs is. There's one down here at the bottom of the value area. Oh, we got an order filled somewhere. I'm not sure where. Sorry, guys. I know I'm going to get to this triple distribution in a second. Okay, so all right, so we got stopped out on the ES trade, right? We got stopped out on the ES trade. It's okay. Remember, we moved our stop to break even, so it wasn't as bad as it looks. Let's get back here. We've got a lower high, a lower high, lower low, a lower low. Let's kind of wait and see if these kind of wicks get attacked before we try to get back in, because I'm inclined to want to get back in. Let's go back over to the NASI. So there's three really, this is like a triple distribution, which is kind of a weird thing, but it's not really a weird thing, but you see it every once in a while. And it's basically saying, hey, a lot of volume traded up here. A lot of volume is traded down by the, the stated point of control. And then a lot of volume traded down at this lower peak here, which is another competing point of control, right? So we have a few different competing points of control right now, and anything could happen. We have some big divots here between the top cluster of volume and the middle cluster of volume, and we have another divot between the middle and the bottom cluster, and that represents market weakness, right? The market didn't spend a lot of time there, didn't do a lot of deals there, didn't make a lot of trades there. So I don't expect it to spend a lot of time there. And it could, any one of these divots could start getting filled in at any given time. But I'm rooting on this target to be the new competing point of control for the markets to get up there right now. We might kind of even temper our target to make it exactly the second point of control, which is where my cursor is at 25. But I'm not going to do that just yet. We'll just hang tight. Lee, no. Sorry. Do you ever use the ATM on Ninja? It's very powerful and it's very awesome. And I recommend everyone get really familiar with it. And Lee's referring to the automated trading management strategies that you could do with Ninja, and they're super good. I mean, you could literally create OTOs, order types of trades that trigger OCO, order cancels other type of trades, right? So you could have, you could put a limit order in, and then once you're filled, it will send a profit target and a stop loss target to bracket your position, and then whichever one of those legs gets filled, the other one gets canceled. So and it gets way more sophisticated than that. You could have, if you do a 2-unit trade, you could have a double target. If you do a 3-unit trade, a triple target, and then you could trail your stops and all that stuff. It takes some brain power, and it takes, make sure that you're really, practice this in sim mode to get it down. All right, another candle here. What time is it? 10:30 candle's not treating us really well. So again, I'm going to kind of move this stop back up. I want to be above my entry. I want to be above my my original entry. So now I've kind of moved my stop back up, and I'm going to let it percolate a little bit. I don't like the fact that we have a pretty significant red bar at 10:30. 10:30 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30, 1, things happen, right? You have more data, right? The algos, the systems, the regular traders, we have more data. When a 10:30 bar closes, we have data on the previous 30-minute bar. We have data on the previous 15-minute bar. We have data on the previous 10-minute bar. We have data on the previous 5-minute bar. And all this extra information is assimilated by a whole bunch of different trading techniques, and sometimes causes these half-hour increments to trade more than you would expect. Okay, I'm sorry. I've been neglecting questions left and right. Apologize for that. And we'll before I even get to hang on a second, I can't take my eyes off this. All right, so on the S&P right now, right at the bottom of the value area, didn't get all the way down toward our wick right here. But here's a low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. I want to see a higher low before we leap into action. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Let's see what happens with this candle. And then the next 10-minute candle could reveal a trade opportunity for us. Okay. Velocity asks, Velocity, I do not know anything about a company called that. No. I know nothing. I don't know anything about those particular, good or bad. I don't know. Lewis, corn is flying. Corn is flying. Here's my corn right down here. Wow, net change 14. That's pretty big. You see that ZC, that's corn. ZC is corn. 14 and a quarter. Yeah. That's pretty good. This particular trade now, do I want to trail my stop up? I could, but no. I mean, really what I'm trying to envision is, are we going to have another higher low, right? So if you think we're going to have another higher low, then you'd probably move your stop, right below this low, right? That would be reasonable. I'm inclined to be more patient because our target is really aggressive. It's pretty high, right? Our target's pretty aggressive. So, sometimes you have to give it some room to breathe, and I want to give it some room to breathe right now. Jerry, I love the 10-minute chart. I'm in love with the 10-minute candle chart. Again, I'm looking for a trade idea and a trade opportunity. We only have an hour together, right? So I'm looking for a trade idea I'm going to be in and out in an hour or less. And I find it, in my opinion, I find it easier to kind of use the 10-minute to come up with that trade idea that's going to be quick. Right. If I were thinking about a swing trade, or maybe I wanted, I didn't care if we were in the trade all day, then maybe I would go ahead and do look at a 30-minute chart, right? And I'd multiply that by 6, and I'd say, all right, I could be in this trade for 3 hours, or an hourly chart. Say, okay, and then I could be in this trade for 6 hours. So I have a 6-to-1 ratio in my mind. That's just kind of it. That's my thing. So the smaller the time frame, if I was looking for a 10-minute trade, I'd be looking at a 2-minute chart, right? All right. So what are we doing here, Nancy? So another thing is to use the top of the value area as another place to move your stop up to, right? We do have a higher high. As long as we keep getting this higher highs and higher lows, I feel good about what we're doing right now. Now, the danger, if this were an ES, I would say we're moving our stop to right below the bottom of this wick right here. But the NASDAQ is volatile, and you get these big candles, and we can get knocked out of the box with, just by blinking our eye, and then all of a sudden, then what? It was like, wow, maybe we would have been right. I don't know. So let's just sit tight, see what happens to this candle right here before we react. We got 4 more minutes. So, all right. So Tova, great question. So Tova asks, and Busy, I'll get to you in a second. What time frame do you trade on when you are trading for yourself or not limited by the class period? Well, so when my advice, my suggestion, my advice is when as you're developing your trading style, pick, there's a couple things you need to decide. How big is your account going to be? How many contracts are you going to trade? When do you want to trade? Pre-market, the market open, immediately after the market open, post-market, which is what we're doing, or the close, or at night even. I mean, it could be at night even. So that's kind of what you want to, you got to make those decisions first. And then once you make those decisions, then I'm going to trade post open, and I want to, I'm looking to be in a trade for this period of time, because the behavior of the market is going to be different, right? How many times have we sat here in the last few weeks and we had these huge rallies in the morning while I was talking, and then by 12 o'clock we had a big break, right? We had a big break, and it's happened several times over the last several days. And so the paradigm of the market changes. The nature of the buyers and sellers change, volatility changes. So pick a time frame also. So pick a time frame. My time frame is 9 to 10. It's we've been doing this for so long together. This is the time frame that my muscle memory is kind of generating information over a long period of time here, which is what I really recommend folks consider. So that's how I look at it. And I'm pretty busy during the daytime, so I gotta be careful what my focus is. In any event, it's a personal thing. You got to pick your thing and stick with it, and pick your market too. I mean, corn is moving, but are you an expert on corn? Do you want to try to just do it one random corn trade in the middle of all this excitement, when your specialty is, crude oil, right? So probably not. So be good at 1, 2, 3 markets, and then just master that. And this is my opinion. I don't know. What do I know? But that's sorry, I'm on a long-winded tirade. So Busy says, Jim, ES is looking like a trading range between 63 and 69. It may move down to, let's see. Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong market. He said ES. Busy says yes. So I'm just going to, I don't know. I mean, again, I think we're going to have a nice value area day to day. And I don't know, the point of control is going to change, but my guess is the bias is going to be bullish, right? It's going to trade on the upside. Let's just pull up an ES daily chart real fast. So here's this is why I'm bullish, right? Green. Really. It looks like maybe we're starting to curve. Maybe we have a doji we got to deal with here at the top, which is always dangerous. But right now we got a positive green candle, and earnings might push us all the way up. I have a fib line drawn right there, along with a 23.6 as a downside target. Something got filled. Hang on, everybody. Let's go back to the NQ. Oh, shoot. Why do I keep doing that? I got the tabs at the bottom. All right, so we're filled on our profit target. Don't forget. Cancel that stop. If you're not using an ATM, which would have canceled it automatically, if you would have placed it that way, manually cancel it there or on the dome. Okay, so so far so good on that MES. That was a nice trade idea. Again though, I want to see some area. I would not sell a contract right now. I really want to see some more attempts at making it closing above where my crosshairs is right now at 642. I want to see that happen. So I could just go ahead and let's just copy that, duplicate it, and pull this up here a little bit. Say, all right, so now there's my area resistance right there. There's my area resistance. Let's get a little bit more data here, see if we could pop in there or not. So Rick, yeah, the point of control in my mind, especially for a micro trade where you could scale in, it gives me an area of interest, right? So I'm just going to draw and this is kind of a weird, this is kind of a weird volume volume profile because of the triple distribution. But if you look at the middle part here, really you don't see a point of control that's so out of whack with the other data points. So if you start at 579 and go down to 569, that's kind of a nice range of prices right there that are really kind of a bigger point of control. And another way to kind of look at it better, let's just go to my indicator section, and I'll just kind of go to order flow volume profile, and I'll change the ticks per level. Let's just change them to 8, just for demonstration purpose. Hit apply and OK. So now each histogram bar represents 8 ticks, right? And now we could really see a good point of control there, and it gives me an area of interest, right? And then when I line it up with a fib line, let's do that again. Go low to high, and then I kind of look at it in context of Fibonacci, and sure enough, it's right at the 50% level. So that again reinforces my idea that this is an area of interest. It doesn't tell me if I should go long or short, but it tells me this is an area of interest. I'm biased, right? So I'm looking for places to buy. Number one. Number two, CCI is pretty strong. Moving average cross is pretty strong, but we're really far away right now, right? So we're really far away. So is it, in my mind, is it likely to get down here anytime soon? No, it's not. I mean, it's literally, well, I don't know. This is the NASDAQ, so maybe, but but I would use it as a second unit, right? So first unit, top of the value area, which corresponds to the 38.2% double confirmation. And then my second unit down here, should we get some sort of velocity, would be at that point of control. So that's how I think of it. And the idea here is, you know, let's take a look. It's the point of control area is traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 8 candles. And it's not unreasonable to think it'll trade there again today. There's a lot of price happiness, a lot of buyers and sellers there. Alternatively, just see what kind of accumulation happens up here at the top at this competing point of control level up here. Martin, it's easier for me to do the demonstrations and talk about what I'm doing in a nutshell. He asked about the OCO settings. You could do an OCO setting, but just for me, I like the hands-on moving things around because it helps me articulate what I'm trying to do better as we're talking out loud. I know talking out loud is like annoying for a while. I hear you for an hour hearing me talk, but it's just kind of the way I do it. Back to the ES from some comments we have on the other side. Let's take a peek here. Oh, now when I changed my volume profile settings, look what it did here. It changed. You know why I keep doing that? I keep making my same error. I have a tab at the bottom already set up. I don't have to do what I was doing. I have tabs created at the bottom so I could toggle between each chart. The other thing you could do is I could link them all together. But so right now I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this is an interesting kind of setup here. I mean, I really think, you know, we didn't challenge this wick yet. We didn't challenge that wick yet. Let's draw some rectangles here to give us some perspective. When in doubt, draw a rectangle. And I'm going to go right here. And it's going to be big because of that wick is kind of sitting there. This is my area right now of support, right? We haven't, body of a candle has not closed or opened. And this rectangle, since that candle right there, which is the 820, that pre-market 810 to 820 candle, right? And then here's the next one, and then here's the opening candle, right? 830 to 840. Haven't done it yet. Haven't done it yet. So from an order entry point of view, I would not probably use the bottom of the value area. I want to see penetration again into this rectangle. I want to see penetration again into this rectangle. And really, I want to see this wick attacked, at least temporarily. You know, we don't want it to be one of those things where it's a runaway, but I don't see a runaway situation here. I see a situation where we're going to end up not too high, not too low. Right now, you know, ES is down a couple couple handles from yesterday, not a big deal. And then, you know, I'm going to go 8 ticks below for my stop loss here. And that's kind of what this trade setup is going to look like right here, right now. Thanks, Jeff. I'm humble and casual because I sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? What am I talking about? So Rick, yeah, so the point of control could change, right? And here's how it changes. Let's say that we just get a ton of volume. I'll just pick a random number right here. Let's say we get a ton of volume up here at 4,500, 4572.50. Then this histogram bar is going to get longer, right? Because all of these, it's like, think of it like as I don't know, as volume accumulates like a trombone, right? This gets bigger and bigger, and we could probably see it better if let me just kind of zoom in here. And so see how these numbers are changing? 17, now we're 19, 540, 19.5. These numbers are accumulating in each histogram bar as we trade at those prices. And if one of these histogram bars has so much volume in it to become the longest one, then that's the new point of control. It's not magic. I mean, it's just looking at volume as it accumulates over the course of the day. You could set your volume profile just to say you wanted to just look at, a part of the day. You can go ahead and do that as well. But I like to see the whole 23-hour period. It's a 23-hour market. Things happen at midnight in Germany with DAX and with the Eurex exchange. Things happen in London at 2 a.m. Chicago time. So there's all sorts of different global international players expressing their opinion, placing their trades, institutional commercials, which I'd call hedgers, and those kind of things that are involved when we're sleeping. So I want to see it all. I want to see what it looks like. So that's how that point of control moves, Rick. Martin, you are welcome. All right, so let's go back to my. I'm running 2 chats here, right? We got the Zoom and the YouTube, so I sometimes neglect one over the other. I apologize for that. 44.50 is looking better. Isabella, yes, I'm looking at 45.53. I'm sorry, 45.43. Whoa, that's off the screen, dude. We shouldn't look. 45.50. What am I thinking here? Really? That's where my stop is. That's 45.55 is way down here. We're off the field. We're out of the end zone. I'm not interested in out of the end zone. Out of the end zone, we're stopped out, and that's bad. Right. So here's the thing about volume. The settings for James is correct. What are your typical settings for order flow volume profile? You changed it to 8 ticks. What do you normally use? Well, I want to be able to. It doesn't matter that much because it's virtually impossible to buy the low or sell the high in one of these markets because of the volatility, right? And so when I develop these areas of interest, they're within a few ticks of where I think it's going to go. And when I set the volume profile, I want to be able to see it in a meaningful way. And if it's a low range day, it's a relatively low range day, then I'll be, the setting will be less. It'll be closer to 1 or 2 ticks. If it's a big range day, then it could be 4 ticks or even 8 ticks, right? So I can see it a little bit better, so it's not so jaggedy. And again, it doesn't matter that much, right? Because when you actually see the actual number is actually printed here. 69 is printed there. So it's really a visual thing for me because the general profile characteristics are going to stand out anyway, and the precision is really, really a marriage of Fibonacci, volume profile, and then the other 2 indicators I have on the screen. And speaking of fib line, I keep losing my fib lines for some reason today. I have no idea why. Let's go to Fibonacci, do it again. Oops, crosshairs. Go to that low. I'm going to go to that high. And again, there's probably a way where I can permanently get rid of this. I could permanently get rid of this 76.4. I'm going to look that up after we're done, so I don't have to keep doing that. Right there. I mean, look at the alignment. 61.8, bottom of the value area. Now that's really important. Really important. Whether you're long or short, that's important, right? You know, a trader might say, I want to get short there. You know, I want to put my stop at the point of control. Or a trader might say, I want to get long there. You know, I want to put my stop somewhere south of there. And so when these areas align, you got 38.2 close to the point of control there. That's a range. That's an area, right? So that's 68.50 to 69. There's three ticks right there to consider as an area of interest. And that's just kind of how I think about it, right? Because again, it's impossible to say, all right, the low is going to be 45.63 and a quarter, and that's where I'm going to put my order in. Well, that, you know, okay, a blind squirrel gets an acorn every once in a while, but it's not likely to happen, right? So when you enter a trade, you're immediately going to have some sort of negative. You'll have some sort of negative, you know, a balance, right? Some mark-to-market, unrealized, right? Unrealized here. If you look up at the top here, it'll show you unrealized deficit with immediately, because you didn't buy the low, you didn't sell the high, and hopefully it turns around in your favor quickly. But that's kind of, I know I'm going on a long tangent on why it doesn't matter that much how you spread out your histogram height on the actual volume profile. But that's my answer. I'm sticking to it. Herbert, thank you. Contending co-presenter. Set up the fib as a template without the 78.6. I'm going to try that when we're done. Isabel says, this is one of the most courageous short trades I've ever taken. Rarely a counter trend trader, especially on the minis. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And sometimes they're good trades, right? A lot of times they're good trades, but when you consistently apply that success because of some false sense of confidence, that's when traders get in trouble. Jorge, just go to your market analyzer, and somewhere in the body here, right click, and there's add instrument. And then you could add instruments. I already have most of the instruments already added, or you could even search for new ones, right? And then you just select the one you want, it'll add it. You select the one you want, it will add it. All right, what time is it? We got about 6 more minutes. If I missed any questions, I apologize. Pop them in again. I'll try to I welcome an opportunity to take a second stab at a question. Like buttons, greatly appreciated for you YouTubers. Love the like button. Favorite thing in the world. Oh, Lee also is throwing me in the tip here about the fib line. All right, so once I set up my fib, you save it as a default, it will short it. All right, it'll sort it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Thank you for that. There we go. We're kind of railing back up. So the takeaway here on this trade idea is, oh, check that out though. The value area just shifted, right? It just shifted down. Did you see that? Just shifted down. So the 61.8% held. 61.8% held. And now we're driving back up to the point of control. Again, it's amazing. Anyway, let's just toggle over to the MNQ one last time. Wow. Yeah, we're nowhere near. And look at this. Volume's accumulated up here. We're making another shot at the title. I wouldn't sell right now. I want to see 3 or 4 confirmation candles showing me where resistance is, and there is no resistance right now. This trade idea is off the table for me. Get rid of it. We'll try again later in the day and see what happens. All right. I do want to remind everybody, trading futures, options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in future trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although that can be equation for opportunity, also equation for risk. Be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. Easy day trade margins, be careful with that as well. We're going to get into the indicator side of things in about an hour and 4 minutes. And Robert asks, how do you change the label? Well, I mean, this thing, if you just double click on it and you could type in whatever you want, or just if you want to add a label, you could add a label. Well, you add a label row. I'm sorry, add a label row, and then you could add the label. So that's it's really easy. Just right click, follow that menu, experiment a little with it, Robert, and you're going to get it. But again, right click, and you're going to get this menu. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully see you next time. Rick, thank you very much. Tell your friends, family, neighbors, fellow countrymen, tell your enemies. We'll make your enemies friends by having them come here today. So feel free to do it. I enjoy doing it, and I really, really appreciate it. So, and last thing also, I do want to stress to everybody, be safe out there and be good to each other. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you.